Hello everyone, in this episode of Motive Garage, we start modifying our Toyota GR Yaris. Now, although the GR Yaris is a pretty competent car in factory form, well, we have to modify it. It's just what we do. Before we started modifying, we decided to put 500 easy kilometres on it and get its first inspection done at Castle Hill Toyota, which is essentially a spanner check. An oil change isn't scheduled, but we did one anyway as part of our oil analysis program, which we'll be making a video on at a later date. For our first modification to the GR Yaris, we headed to A2R Batteries and Performance in Glendenning in Sydney. Owner Ben is a fellow GTR owner and enthusiast, and as well as having mobile vans to service commercial batteries, trucks and more, he keeps a range of batteries suitable for performance cars and motorsport. His range of batteries starts with high quality wet batteries such as DELTEC. From here you move up to a dry cell battery such as the popular OPTIMA battery range, which is not only an upgrade in better performance, but is also safer and can be placed in the cabin as acid can't leak out under high G loads on the racetrack or in a crash. The next step up from this is a lithium-ion battery, such as the one we chose from Mega Life Battery. You get great performance and the safety of a dry cell, but most importantly, you get a massive weight saving. How massive? Well, let's take a look on the scales comparing equivalent batteries. You can see the Mega Life battery is less than half the weight of the others. Another benefit of the Mega Life battery is the built-in jump start feature. Essentially, there is a reserve battery inside, and if you ever run your car flat, you simply press the button and it activates a backup battery that has enough to start most cars so it can then recharge off the alternator. This can be a lifesaver in performance car applications. Our GR Yaris has a stop-start function, so has a rather large battery from factory, so we expected a hefty weight saving. We ended up saving a mammoth 13 kilos by switching batteries. That's more than a carbon bonnet or titanium catback exhaust will save you, and it's simpler, cheaper and quicker to install. They may not be cheap compared to a normal battery, but they're not expensive when compared to titanium and carbon parts. To help choose the right battery for you, contact the guys at A2R Batteries and Performance. Now, I never thought I'd get excited installing and talking about a battery, but here we are. You can't argue with the results. 13 kilos saved is better than what a titanium catback or a carbon bonnet and other lightweight carbon stuff would do to the car. In fact, to get wheels that save you that much weight, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars. So in terms of dollar per weight loss, it's actually a very cost-effective modification. And the jump start feature, well, that's a pretty cool thing to have as well. Now, we actually installed the battery on the way to the car's very first track day. We attended the WHITELINE Rallysprint series at Sydney Dragway. We've done a lot of rally sprints in the past in our WRX, so the first run was more used to learn the car. So, first impression of driving a Yaris flat out in the Rallysprint is tyres are rubbish. Same thing everyone else says. This thing wants to actually lock up the brakes, so I have to go a lot easier on the brake pedal than what I would if I had a good tyre on it. So I can't use the brakes well enough. It does understeer, but I'm in track mode. I'm going to try sport next. And essentially, it's just a really easy, chuckable, fun car. At no point did I feel nervous or worried or whatever, and just had a crack straight away. Like, it's a confidence-inspiring car. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to kind of learn everything about it before I had a crack. I was just, let's go, let's do it. So that's always a good sign for a fun, well set up car, is it when you can do that. And it's accessible power for everyone, I think, in this. Like, for you to crash this, you'd crash anything. But yeah, good fun. The second run, we tried sport mode and had a crack at a time on stock tyres. Sport versus track mode here, could barely tell the difference. It's like it hasn't got enough power to make the rear do more of what I want anyway. Understeer just felt the same, so I might as well have 50-50 front to rear and minimize a little bit of wheel spin to make it do that. So if this thing had a rear LSD, the handbrake turns would be sick, but I can't keep rotating the rear with the back because there's no LSD. So a handbrake turn is just basically pull it and drive out of it when you're done. So I probably overcooked one of them. The other one was all right, but hey, whatever. It was a bit of fun. That one will be quicker, just due to a big mistake I made on the last one, and I launched it harder. Man, they are actually pretty tough to launch. We then switched over to the tarmac wheels wrapped in Zestino 07 RS tyres to see how much improvement a high-performance 140 treadwear tyre can make. 4 seconds. Yeah, dude, 4 seconds.
Jesus.
That was a 24.5. I mean, everyone else is getting quicker as well, but like now I'm 16th. And I'm getting things wrong, like it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm still learning the car. I'm not like the Rexy. I'm not like this. The Rexy I was like that, but this...
Yeah, but you drove that thing for years.
Yeah, I've got brakes, that's the main thing. More than anything else, I've got brakes. We headed out for a few more runs, but didn't better our time once the sun went down. But the car was consistently within a few tenths for the rest of the night and was a whole load of fun. So the GR Yaris has proven to be a great car out of the box. With just tyres, the car was able to finish in the top half. In fact, more like the top third at the Rallysprint. But most importantly, it's actually a really fun car to drive. I've driven some things that are quick that aren't very enjoyable because they're difficult or they're boring. But this car, they've just built fun factor into the Yaris. It's a really fun car to drive flat out. Now, my initial impressions at the Rallysprint is it needs an aftermarket rear mechanical LSD, just like our WRX did, to help with better corner exit and also reduce understeer a little bit. It definitely needs sway bars as well. It's got a lot more body roll than I would like. Even though the dampers and stuff are really good, I think it needs a sway bar. Just those two things alone would make massive improvements at the Rallysprint. Although the brakes were fantastic, and also I will say this, don't even bother trying the Rallysprint or Motorsport on the standard tyres with this car. You really need a tyre that can handle some Motorsport. So with the Rallysprint done, our next focus was on taking it to Wakefield to see how quick it was there. But we couldn't help ourselves. We wanted to do a couple of mods before we went there, so we fitted up the Tuner's Edge catback exhaust system as well as a K&N panel filter. Tuner's Edge received one of the very first GR Yaris delivered in Australia back in November 2020. They developed a 3-inch catback exhaust using a high-quality AES muffler before splitting into twin 3-inch. Weight-wise, it's barely noticeable over standard, even though it is larger and better stainless steel material. It was easy to fit, but most importantly, sounds so much better than the vacuum cleaner exhaust from factory. We threw the keys straight to John Boston to put down a lap time in our Yaris on the Zestino 07 RS tyres, as he has already put down a stock lap time of 111.4 and put down a lap time of 109.4 on a car that just had tyres on it. We were curious to see how well our car would go with catback exhaust and filter added as well.
Yeah, awesome. Like at least you can actually hear the car now. Sounds actually pretty cool with an exhaust on the thing. And look, the Zestinos are an awesome tyre. They actually give you lots of feedback. You know, it's actually a little bit cold on the rears initially, so I was actually sliding up through turn 3. I did a 9, I think 5 thereabouts and then the second lap was a 9.25, held up with traffic, and then I thought, oh, I'll just do one more, and then did a 9.28. Considering it's, no tune, Zestino road tyres, they're a genuine, drive to the track, drive around, do some laps, and obviously drive back home. You can't ask for much better. So yours probably has a few more Ks than the last one that I drove, so I was able to pull fourth up the hill. So it's just sometimes little things like that. Obviously the cars are so new and the lap times are going to come down and down, and it's good to see cars with different mods and things that people obviously like and what they think is going to be better for themselves. But I was able to pull fourth easily up the hill and fourth down the hill as well. And I think obviously the more kilometres that the engines get, I think they're just going to get faster.
This has quite probably heavier wheels on it that I'd like. These are my street wheels, but that's all I've got right now. Do you think there's a little bit more to be had if we can get to there's probably like 3 kilos a wheel, a little bit too heavy, I think?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. Like that, obviously, that's going to help. There's no doubt about it. It's a fair bit of extra weight that we're carrying, and that could, if we're doing 9.2s now, that could probably allow us to dip into the 8s, I would think.
Where would you see like this? Did you feel any difference with the catback and air filter, or do you think that's a bit inconsequential?
Oh no, I think there is actually, because I think just maybe that's why I'm able to pull the gears earlier. There's got to be more power there, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just opened it up a little bit, and just being able to tell that. So, maybe if we had the right style wheels on it and dipping into the 8s, like the mods that you have done just for the catback and intake and stuff, that's probably worth another half a second. See if we can dip into the 7s.
It's all coming. No, we're going to skip 7s.
Beautiful.
If we have to skip 7s and we're going to go 6s, well, we're going to be adding race rubber on race wheels, coilovers, anti-lift kit, sway bars, rear diff. We're also going to have camber arms and lower arms at the back. We're going to have a full exhaust turbo back, a full intake, aftermarket intercooler pipes, and tune house are going to tune it, and I'll get lines and pads.
Mega. So
can we skip 7s, you reckon?
I can see you're going to skip 7s.
It was then time to see how I'd go behind the wheel of the Yaris. So our first circuit day with the Yaris was, well, awesome. The car is incredible. Sub 110s with just a tyre change is pretty phenomenal at Wakefield. For a car like this, at this price point especially, not only is it quick, it's actually really fun to drive. It's very predictable. You can push to the limit very easily. The fact that I was able to do a low 1:10 in the car, within 2 sessions is pretty good. Other cars I've owned to get into the 110s from factory form took a lot more work and a lot more time than this did. Now, speaking of lap times, the guys from Tune House had their Yaris at the track as well. They've done their power port tuning on the car. It made an extra 20 kilowatts up top, 30 kilowatts in the mid-range, but how well did that extra power translate to performance at the track? And to be honest, it's very good. The car did a 1:10.1 on the standard tyres, which is 1.3 seconds quicker than a factory Yaris at Wakefield. And then they put the same Zestino 07 RSs on, and the car went 1:08 flat, another 2 seconds off. So now we're talking 3.4 seconds quicker than factory around Wakefield, just by putting on tyres and a tune. So we'll be working with Tune House with our car. Now our 1:09.2 lap time is quicker than a stock Yaris with the same tyres. So, well, we think that maybe the exhaust and the K&N panel filter is making a real world difference. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be fitting up a Golby's dump pipe and centre exhaust section onto the car. We're going to be testing an intake, and we're also going to be fitting up the first Turbo Smart blow-off valve for the GR Yaris, and things are just going to snowball from there. So make sure you subscribe and keep an eye on our development of the GR Yaris.